Hey guys, it's your buddy Dave. Real quick before we get started here, I don't think I said it in the podcast, but this is episode 306. And if you're a visual person and you want to follow along with the scores and all the other data that I have for this, you can find it in the show notes at 3gunshow.com/306. 3gunshow.com/306. Thanks for being here and enjoy the podcast. Welcome, everybody, to the Three Gun Show. I'm your host, Dave Hartman. Distraught. I'm a little happy, a little sad. I don't know how to feel about this. I've got mixed emotions, but we're about to do the wrap up of the very first Three Gun Fantasy League. That's the only thing I can do is breathe a sigh. With me today, of course, Amax. Welcome back, buddy.
Great to be here, buddy. Glad we got this off the ground. Glad everybody's stoked about it, and glad they're all angry now.
It's mixed emotions coming after the first weekend of this. It was interesting watching the match and paying attention to it and having some skin in the game, but doing the scores, little upset. But
I'm addicted to the roller coaster ride, so it wouldn't be fun if you didn't go downhill from time to time, I
gotta say, I got some really cheap dopamine this weekend, and that was fun. So joining us, just a couple of bench racers. Living the dream is another bench racer, Aaron Hayes. Aaron, welcome.
Hey, Dave, what's up?
It's great to have you, man. So this judging by the fury of text coming from your way, this seems like right up your alley.
It kind of is, yeah. No, when I first heard about this, I was intrigued. Not because I'm a huge fantasy sports person per se, but we've always, ever since Jesse's thread on Facebook, epic thread that you referenced about ranking, kind of around the shop, and just me and Garrison and some of the other guys were out building matches and stuff. We talk about literally everything on earth, and of course, ranking for Three Gun always comes up. So I've talked to a couple people about maybe doing an app or something to try to come up with a ranking, and it just always got so convoluted so quickly that we just ran out of beer and gave up. But I think this really caught my attention because I think we could, with a full season of this, we could have a ranking that's fairly accurate, and that interests me just as someone who follows Three Gun and likes to decide. It kind of reminded me back of the old. I hate to use the name we don't speak of, but the Three Gun Nation regionals and stuff, when it was like a points race to try to make the pro series, and everyone was picking what matches to go to based on who would or maybe would not be there to try to get maximum points. And it just kind of made me think about the fever that was around that the first couple of years, which I really enjoyed, and was one of the guys traveling cross country chasing points to try to make it. So yeah, I think this could be really fun.
And talking, as you being the match director for this event, Dave and I obviously aren't eligible for prizes because it's our game and whatnot, but you asked if there's a way match directors could be involved, and we're like, well, yeah, you could be on the show with us.
Yeah, that works.
To break it all down. So.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed that I wasn't able to pick whenever I. I assumed I wouldn't be able to because I'm running the match.
Well, we told you to pick a team, and then you could be on like the industry insiders. Adam versus Dave, which is inevitably coming down the line here.
Yep. So. Yep. No, and I did pick a team, so I've yet to divulge it.
Oh, you did?
I did, yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, once I don't know, you want me to say who I picked now or wait till the end?
I don't know. Let's wait till we do the industry insider, because it's basically me and Amax against each other right now, and then we can just toss you in the mix there if you want.
Right on.
Cool. Well, that's good to hear. Aaron, when I lived in Round Rock, I can't count the number of times I walked in the shop and I was asked for an opinion on the latest dispute of what the conversation was, right? So this is totally the exact thing that y'all do in the shop. So
we're very fond of opinions here at Hayes Custom.
Yeah, exactly. And so the this type of thing is perfectly right up the alley. So I'm glad it worked out, and I'm glad we were able to do it on one of your matches. So kind of fun.
For sure. No, it was kind of an honor to be the first one to be the guinea pig, so to speak. So.
Yeah. So what did you think, Aaron, of the first podcast initially when we led into the topic? I know you got
actually I have to be completely honest. I've been super busy lately building this match, among other things. So I saw some. I hate to give any journalistic credibility to the 3-Gun Memes group on Facebook, but I learned about this. I learned about this through a couple of memes about. I think it was one of John Lampin's memes about when you find out all your friends are handicapped or something, and I was what did I miss? And then I saw some comments and people started tagging me on the 3-Gun Show episode that had just come out, so I had to go listen to it. So yeah, I have to admit I didn't find out about it just from listening to your show. I had to get clued into it, but once I heard about it, I listened to it and I was like, right on. That's when I started blowing your phone up with texts.
Yeah.
And with the original idea for this came out around July, and I texted you that day, like, hey, I got this idea. Are you the are you the match director or something like that? Do you have access to the practice score? And you said yes. But then, like, it kind of trailed off. Like, it took a while for us to actually, like, get this together and run with it. So, like, there's a big gap of time. And then, like, the train had left the station. We're like, oh, yeah, this is what we're doing, by the way.
And I was surprised that I don't know if I should say surprised, but the number of people, like, I was pleasantly surprised to see how many people were into it for not really being something that was super publicized and super talked about.
Yeah.
The fact that this many people participated, I think now if people start talking about it, at the matches, I did see a couple of people tell a couple of people during walkthrough day, yeah, you better not screw this up because I bet on you. So yeah, it was definitely improved the dynamic a little bit, I think.
And the AMU has requested that we do it for Benning. So I'm going to lean on Dave really hard publicly that we try another trial run yet this fall with Fort Benning. So
good times.
I think it's cool that, it was kind of one of those things. It's like, man, it's either going to be really popular or everyone's going to think it's stupid. And so I'm glad that it was more popular than I thought it would be, which means, there's probably potential that we refine this model and continue on with it, I hope. So.
Yeah, we've gotten all kinds of great feedback from a bunch of self-identified gambling junkies in the 3-Gun world who reached out and was like, that's not how you do it. And like, oh, you just outed yourself. But
I do it.
Yeah, I mean, fantasy sports is like a multi-trillion-dollar business probably.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that the three of us maybe know the least about fantasy sports of anyone involved in this.
For sure. And
because pretty much everyone I know plays fantasy football. I had some friends who used to be in fantasy baseball. Like, hey, Amax's GoPro just hit the cement. That's cool.
Bryce's GoPro.
Right on. I wonder if they have a Vortex warranty on their stuff too.
Absolutely not.
It's not that great.
That's their pyramid scheme.
Yeah, right. So I think I would be surprised to learn that most people who shoot 3-Gun, are not or have not participated in fantasy sports at some time. I mean, pretty much everybody does it. So
yeah, and the people that did reach out and offered some feedback were super helpful. So I'm very appreciative of the awesome community once again that we have in 3-Gun helping us out with this. So we got some good feedback from people for next time, some things we could do better, things that we did right and stuff like that. So we can improve it and go forward here. But I guess should we just start from the start?
Well, should we maybe talk about the match a little bit first? Just
yeah,
for like
definitely. Yeah, you guys. So this is kind of a unique podcast here, the way we're recording it. So Amax and Aaron are in the same room in Tejas. They just got done shooting the match, and I'm back in Wyoming. And tell us about the match, guys.
Well, it was Blue Ridge was one of my favorite matches of all time. Every time I went, it was awesome. So that match went away, and then Jeremy Moore had the Vortex Shooter Source 3-Gun up at Triple C. When that range went away, I was depressed for a long time, longer than I care to admit. I was depressed because those are two of my favorite matches. So I happened to see him. He came down and helped us at Texas 3-Gun, and I said, "Hey, Jeremy, we could do a pretty good match here." And ever since I'd seen Reveille Peak for the first time, me and Ryan Muller had been talking about the ultimate 3-Gun match, and I was going to call it the "But Did You Die" 3-Gun match. We ultimately decided against that name, but this match was kind of, in my mind anyway, inspired by Blue Ridge and the Shooter Source. Long, challenging stages with hard targets, movement, gun handling, slinging, unslinging. We didn't sling any shotguns this time.
Thank God.
Probably next time we will, but we didn't want to just throw everyone into the deep end, first right out of the gate. So I was looking at these scores, and this is something I wanted to talk about and just briefly mention. The winner of TAC Ops, Nate Staskowitz of the AMU, shot for just over 18 minutes.
Jeez.
And our 50% competitor, and the reason I know this because we gave away a 50% gun. Our 50% competitor, 50% overall, shot for 27 minutes in 9 stages.
Now, if I put you on the spot, Nate also shot TX3G.
He did.
Do you know how much time he spent shooting at TX?
I can tell you that in about 10
because I think that's a big thing about this match. When I first heard about it, Garrison was kind of along the same lines. He was kind of like, all the ideas that we put in a piggy bank for a rainy day of like, this is a really fun idea, but it's way too big for the format of Texas 3-gun. Someday we're going to do this like epic, awesome match, and we're going to put all this stuff in it. And so that's what this was.
Nate wasn't actually at the 21 match. Daniel Jurasic was, and he won in his time. So he won TAC Ops, and his time was 647 seconds. So divided by 60 is 10 minutes. So still not bad, but obviously not 18. So I just thought that was kind of cool when I was looking at the scores. That if you like to shoot guns in the woods, like this is your jam, because we did almost a whole lot of it.
Double the time, and that's a big thing. Like we were talking offline last night, and I was talking to Jeremy as well, is like the important thing to know is that this is not Texas 3-gun Part 2. This isn't like fall edition Texas 3-gun. It's a completely different match. And I think that's hard for some people to wrap their head around when they're like, well, it's at the same place and they're using the same targets.
Right. Same guys running it for the most part.
Yeah, the same guys. And then the stages a lot of them are kind of in the same place too. Like how could it be that different? But like, I mean, stage 2 what was the linear distance on stage 2?
It was about 200 yards.
200 yards.
Not
that
in straight line.
That you would cover with your feet of shooting area.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then stage times, what was the goal stage time for this one?
Our goal in this match was to have the winning time between 100 and 150 seconds in TAC Ops. I've shot TAC Ops and Limited, which is pretty similar to TAC Ops, obviously, in most respects. So I don't have like a good gauge for looking at a stage when I'm planning of like what an open guy could do. So we always go, like a TAC Ops winning time is our benchmark. And our goal, like for Texas 3-gun, is usually 50 or 60 seconds. For this match, our goal was 100 to 150 seconds. And I think we pretty much nailed that. With one exception, we actually had a 700-yard target on one stage. And so since I was worried people might take too long on that target, we shortened that stage a little bit, and it wound up being our shortest stage.
Which, shout out to my boy Chad Swartout in Limited. Hit it in one shot.
What? So 700 yards target.
Yep.
What kind of target was that, Aaron?
It was a 48-inch square.
Huh. Okay. Was that up the hill there on?
It was actually on. So I don't know. Do you remember where stage 3 was? Were you at Texas 3-gun this year? I don't remember.
No, I wasn't a Texas 3-gun this year.
It was a virgin spot.
They have a newly built 1,000-yard range up
on
the top, kind of where we shot the mover a few years ago, and they have a from their fixed firing line, it's 1,000 yards and 800 yards. So we moved the stage start up to where that was a 7. It was actually 699.7 from the rooftop. So, but it was a huge target. Like we intentionally wanted to make it. Like I didn't want to put an unhittable target in the match, right? I wanted it to be big enough that people could hit it. And then this match, kind of like the Vortex Shooter Source match of the past, coaching was allowed. So, one guy's shooting and another guy can be on glass, basically walking him in. They can't call hits, but they can call corrections. They can call wind.
They can say pretty much anything but the H word.
Pretty much anything, yeah. So that combined with the big target, we knew that most people would be able to hit the target, which is what we want. Like I don't want to put a target out there that 5 people in the whole match hit. So, and it was pretty cool. I mean, people were literally giggling out loud after hitting that target on the first or second shot. So
I went first on our squad that stage, and I didn't hit it on the first shot. Because I was the one guinea pig in the wind.
Yeah, so it's in a spot where the wind in the afternoons gets pretty fun, and of course that's a long shot, the 223. So,
and of course I accidentally grabbed the mag with 55 grainers instead of the 77 grainers.
Oh, nice.
And I still got it in 5 shots, which was
classic.
A blessing, I guess, in hindsight. But yeah. But I think that's a big thing to take away from this one is like the stage time. It's like targeted stage times are double the shooting, which is very characteristic of some of those, we'll call them classic matches that Aaron and I came up in the sport shooting. Blue Ridge, Ironman, Rocky Mountain. But what I liked about this one is that it has all the modern amenities, namely the match directors isn't trying to F you and hiding targets like in random places. Like that was my recollection of Blue Ridge, especially the first few times I went there. Like they hid stuff in very, very hard to find places. Like I went into some stages, like on walkthrough day, I couldn't find all the targets. They would put one way back in the cabbage, and it was gray. They wouldn't paint it, and like you had to stand in this one spot to see it.
Same shitty presentation for everyone.
Yep. And like that isn't going on, but so we've got the like updated, like, hey, everyone should still have fun at our match. It's not fun to get messed with, but they were the long par times that, have for the most part kind of left the sport for the time being. In some of these matches like this one, bringing them back. So it's a good variety to the season, especially like, other organizations have kind of run into that. Well, why would I go to that same venue twice? Why would I, it's the same match on a different month. Like, no, it's not. It's different. And
we definitely had that discussion because, like I said, Jeremy came and helped with Texas 3-Gun this year and was a huge asset. And so when we were building this match, we specifically did things to make it feel a little different from Texas 3-Gun. Jeremy has a pretty loyal following of people who shot his locals, and then of course the shooter source match was always great. But he has a bit of a diabolical streak.
Yes.
So we definitely implemented some more of that in this match. And then and I was there to balance it out and be like, yo, Jeremy, we don't want people to come looking for us after this.
There's no crying,
angry at us. So I felt like it was a real good team effort on he and I's part to understand each other's strengths and weaknesses, and he likes to make things hard. So like on stage 1, like we had corrugated backers on all the long range targets and blue barrels next to them and big strobes and flashcards and all this stuff. And then Jeremy says, okay, I'm gonna go put my target up there. And he goes and puts a 12-inch square at 430 yards hanging on the berm with no backer. It's like, all right, there's your target, Jeremy. That's how people will know you were here. So
that target destroyed my match.
No, brutal. It was brutal. So it was just enough of that kind of thing, but not so much that you just feel demoralized by the level of difficulty. We had a lot of shooters there who are by no means top tier pros. Just the bulk of people at matches are not pros. They're just there to shoot and have fun. So we tried to keep it to where even though you're getting your teeth kicked in, so to speak, you're still having fun doing it. And the coaching, it sounds weird until you experience it and you think, man, that really sounds just stupid or not like a good idea. But once you experience it, it's hilarious. I mean, of course, it's depending on who you're squatted with, it's a fine line between help and heckling and hindrance.
Oh yeah.
In a lot of cases,
I think a lot of top level pros are like, no, don't talk to me. But
yes.
Yeah, it's like, the level of value that coaching has is entirely dependent on who the individual is that's coaching you.
And their motives.
And their motives. Yeah. That was the best thing about the Vortex shooter source match, though, was the atmosphere of coaching and like, are you helping me or are you trying to hinder me here?
One thing I know is that it not only just the actual act of coaching, but it kind of loosened everybody up to feel like they could talk more.
Yeah.
During this, so like there was, as a result of the coaching, there was a lot more banter between shooter and his squad mates as they're following him carrying mags or whatever. And one guy just climbed up on the A-frame and hit his mag release, and both of his coupled 48 mags just crashed to the ground and exploded. And he hasn't even fired a shot with his rifle, and he screams, "I need a mag!" And like 4 people hand him half-empty mags, and then he jumps down to run into the woods, and there's like 3 dudes running behind him with mags in each hand, to keep this guy going for the whole stage. So it just made people feel a lot more free to talk to one another and stuff. And I saw some really hilarious I guess blooper reel material is the best way to put it, where something goes wrong and the commentary between shooter and coach and people offering advice that may or may not be helpful at the time, it was really entertaining. So it looked like fun to me. I was real happy with the way it turned out. And I didn't have any complaints about people saying that it was any kind of an unfair advantage or,
no.
You always have people that make that kind of noise when they hear about coaching. And but the guys who win are still going to win, and the scores bear that out. It just is a different dynamic. And in a match this hard, it definitely makes the finishability and the enjoyment factor for the non-top tier skill shooters who may or may not be able to even complete any of these stages, by themselves. It just kind of gives it more of a, this sucks, but we're all sucking together kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which most people had a hoot with. And I told, several people were like, man, this is a really hard match. And I might time out on every stage. And I said, look, if you time out on every stage, you will have shot for 45 minutes in one match.
Yeah.
Like, that's more than probably most of us have shot on the clock the whole year.
Yeah.
So
it's a ton of time.
So much time. And one advantage of running a match like this with this length of stages is people are a lot less willing to ask for a reshoot just because of the amount of ammo involved. There were multiple times where we had, something happen where it's like, okay, look, well, we can remove this penalty because it got handled wrong, or you can reshoot. I don't think anybody. Adam was ready to reshoot.
Yeah, I was
he
loaded,
was the
ready
only
to go.
one.
I was ready to go.
So it was pretty entertaining and a cool dynamic that admittedly I wouldn't want at every match, but for a match like this, it feels appropriate.
Well, good. Nice. Well, I'm glad that the match went off well. Glad that everybody enjoyed it.
The other thing we have to make note on before we move off of that is this match was Slugageddon.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
So many drug deals going on for slugs in the parking lot. Nobody brought enough. And I mulliganed on a stage. Well, there's mulligans at this match from the Shooter Source fame. So you can buy a do-over. And there's rules and stipulations around that. But so I mulliganed on a stage that had a lot of slugs. And so I was getting towards the end and like starting to wonder if I had enough. But everybody like on the last stage where they were passing them around, man, like, stuffing the mystery ones in the bottom of your mag and the ones on the top. And
it was like the buckshot at Hard as Hell a couple of years ago.
Yeah, there's a lot like that actually.
We're like emptying guns onto people's belts.
Yes. Yep, that was going on.
Well, one of the funny things that happened, kind of dovetails with what Adam just said, was your coaches, they can't bring you a gun, but they can bring you ammo, they can bring you mags, they can offer advice. So we had a 57 round all shotgun, all birdshot stage that included an 18-yard red stitch spinner at the end. And that's like 57 rounds is right at the limit of what most people can carry on their body. So I think the most common move was to have somebody else running behind wearing their own chest rig where you could just turn and take shells off of that. Off your coach's chest rig. There was one guy who only had 2 mags for his Vepr. So when he would drop his mag, the guy behind him would pick it up off the ground and start stuffing shells into it to hand back to him whenever he needed to change mags.
I will admit I've never had to borrow Vepr mags before, but I did. I borrowed 2. I borrowed 2 from Dylan and 1 from Houston. So I had 3 20s, 3 15s, and a 12, which was. I didn't tap into that last 20, but like I was like, man, I have just enough that it goes right. It's going to be close, which means I need more.
This is a find out who your friends are match.
I spun that spinner on my match with my match saver, so I had just enough, and it was way more than 57. I'm embarrassed to say. So, but yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
57 rounds of shotgun is more than I shot at a couple matches this year.
Yep, I could have. Yeah, you're right.
My handguard on my Vepr has never been that hot. Like, it got to the end, I was ready to let go of it. It was pretty hot.
So so it sounds like a special budget match, right? Like you need to, especially in these times when slugs are a little bit hard to find. Like you need to really plan out being ready for this match.
Yeah, it was less stages than TX.
We did 9 stages, and we kind of followed the Blue Ridge format, which is a full day. So you shoot, you have a break, you shoot, you have a break, and then 3 stages per day for 3 days. So technically 3 full days at the range, which is a lot. And when I first went to Blue Ridge, I was kind of skeptical of the format. And then I don't need a break. We could do more than one day. And then I shot the first stage, and I was like, oh, thank God I have 2 hours before I have to do anything. So for the type of match, it's appropriate. And it's if we tried to cram any more stages in, if we had bad weather, the weather was perfect this time. But in the event of bad weather, you've got to have some buffer time. So the 3, 3, and 3 for 3 days is probably what we'll stick to in the future, just because it gives us the ability to shoot the whole match.
And there was talk at one point of squeezing in an extra stage on a day or whatever, and we were like, we all got together like, no, we're gonna fight that tooth and nail unless they absolutely make it.
Usually you got people fighting to shoot an extra stage. Can we just do one more? But there was none of that. None of that this weekend. So, yeah.
Very nice. All right, guys. Anything else we want to mention about the match before we get into who won? The exciting stuff.
I think we're good to go. I'm on the edge of my seat here.
The biggest stamp I can give a match is must attend, and I would bring my wife, and that's one that I would put on this match. So she doesn't get to go to all of them that she wants to, so she has to pick and choose. I would definitely recommend this one. If you can't make them all, this is one you want to put on your schedule.
Well, I appreciate that, Adam. That's what I'm going for. And they've been dirt bike. Adam and Logan have been.
Hell yeah! We did more dirt biking than 3-gunning, I think.
Did you bring your bike down, Adam?
The Tolans were gracious enough to bring one to me, or I brought it to them. They drove down, and then I, of course, am on my grand fall tour. I left on October 5th. It's October 25th, and I still have a few days yet. So they brought it down. We planned on doing some riding because basically I didn't have enough time to go home. I would basically go home just in time to turn around and come back. So convinced them that it would be a good idea to come early, and then midweek between 2 events, we were out riding at this club that Aaron's a member of that he got us into, and that was a good time. But yeah, just some filler stuff. We like guns and we like bikes, and so we did both.
Good stuff.
And I ran him into the ground today. Usually he's like, oh, we're done now. But like today, finally he's like, I'm going to stay here. And I'm going to go out for another couple laps. So
nice.
Don't wander off.
Stay.
Yeah. We even had a cool code. Like he likes to explore. So, and I wasn't about that today. So we had this is a funny story. So we're like, all right, we're going to split up. But me being the adult, like
he's talking about Logan, not me.
Logan. Oh yeah. No. Yeah. Aaron was working today.
When he's talking about this stuff. That's
yeah. We never put Aaron in charge as the adult. So I totally knew who this was.
Okay. All right.
I want to go explore. And so I'm like, all right, well, we need a plan because I need to know, like if something goes wrong, we need to know like, all right, someone needs to come find whoever else. And so we arrived at, we were going to reconvene at this spot at a certain time. And if for some reason we had to leave that spot after that time, we were going to stack 3 rocks on top of each other in an unnatural orientation so that we would know the other person had been there and was out searching for the other person. So we had a Stone Age communication system worked out for emergencies.
All right then. Good times. Did you have to use it?
Nope, we didn't. Which is good. But we got to have that plan because once something's wrong, then it's too late.
Yep. Got a plan to stack rocks. All right, so good times of the match. A lot of shooting, a lot of far shots. Aaron, what do you think? Are you and Jeremy going to do this match again?
Oh, for sure. My philosophy is kind of like I would try to build a match that I would want to shoot. So it's cool to see that people enjoy that kind of shooting. The long targets are fun. There's a diminishing amount of ranges where we can even shoot 700 yards, if you wanted to. So I feel like the match was a real good showcase for Revley Peak. I mean, we've been shooting out there with Texas 3-Gun for a few years now, but that place has so much to offer, action shooting enthusiasts. They're hosting the Tactical Games National Championships in October, and they're going to use part of some of our stages for that. So it's cool to see that organization, A, growing, and B, starting to embrace the action shooting element a little bit more than just the static shooting that they've done up to this point, because they're growing. It's a new organization, but it's just a really good utilization of Reveille Peak, and Jeremy really likes it there. This is his second time helping with a match there and working on a match there, so I know he really is into it. So yeah, the plan is for sure to do the match again next year, and probably around the same time. It's kind of funny because I spoke earlier about how much I love Blue Ridge. During this weekend, this is the traditional Blue Ridge weekend, and nothing but memories on Facebook from Blue Ridge popping up on my phone as we're doing this match. So that kind of kept me going and kept me, I don't know, it was just kind of nostalgic that we were running a match that I hope lives up to the legacy that Blue Ridge left, because that was, to me, kind of the pinnacle of hard, physical three-gun competition. They even had like climbing and slack lines, and I mean that match a few years was really intense. We actually climbed on top of the roof of the bathhouse at Rock Castle and shot down into the ground.
Oh yeah,
through a hole in the ceiling, right? So I mean that's hardcore. We don't plan to take it that physical, just because I want to keep the pool of shooters who would want to come shoot this match as broad as possible while still making it challenging. So really just long movements and somewhat difficult shooting positions will be the norm, but like you'll never have to climb a rock wall or a rope or anything like that at this match. But yes, we definitely plan to do it again and plan to. Jeremy already has plans for the reducing size of the 700-yard target from year to year. So 5 years from now, that's going to be a lot harder shot than it was this year.
All my memories of Blue Ridge are covered in that like poo brown mud. So I'd be just fine if this match didn't carry that on. But
well, we have our own version of that. The red dust. I'm going to be wearing that for about a week, I think. For weeks.
The Mars dust.
Exactly, like a badge of honor, Connor. Kind of. Although I will say, since we started shooting out in the woods, that first year we were all in the bays at Texas 3 Gun. The first year out there, we were all in the bays, and it was super windy. So it was like a perfect storm, no pun intended, of conditions. Shooting out in the woods is a lot better because there's more grass and stuff to keep the dust down, and the trees and stuff knock the wind down. So it hasn't been as bad as that first year, which is I'm very thankful for, because that dust is brutal.
And a lot of the features on the green side of the ranch are really, really nice. Like that rock you guys used on stage 9, like it's a pain in the butt every time because you're shooting way up off the valley floor on that canyon. But like the rock is like just the perfect configuration that like, yeah, it's kind of stable to shoot off of, but it's so awkward that like nobody has the perfect way to shoot off of it. So a lot of those features are really nice. So yeah.
All right, guys. Scores. Let's talk scores. Okay. So so remember here we did TAC and Open, and you have a team that consists of 3 choices from the TAC division, 3 choices from Open division, and then we had prizes. We have 4 prizes based on where you finish overall, and then we have two prizes in each division. So we have a $250 gift certificate from LAG Tactical for the highest score in TAC Ops team, and then we have $250 LAG Tactical gift certificate for the highest scoring Open team. And then from there, our overall prizes, we have a 12.5-inch IWI Zion pistol, which is a AR platform. We have a $500 gift certificate off of MSRP to Vortex for any scope of your choosing. And then we have a match pack of magazines from Atlas Gunworks, which is 5 2011 magazines. And then we have a Weber Tactical belt and holster kit. It is their gamer belt and their gamer holster. And that bad boy is worth about $250. So lots of cool prizes.
For being a pilot program and the way you guys kind of not throw together, but last minute, like that's a pretty gangster list of prizes.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm very grateful for the people that have helped us out. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny because every phone call I made about it started off with, "I'm skeptical. Explain it to me." And then 10 minutes later, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're in. Yeah, whatever you want." Yep.
Well, that's awesome. So once we did the podcast, I had both LAG Tactical and Weber Tactical reach out because they wanted to be a part of it. So apparently you just have to explain it a couple times, and it works.
Heck yeah.
There you go. All right. So
do this process a little bit, because to me, fantasy sports is a little bit like cryptocurrency. Like I kind of get it, but I mostly don't. So if I have to ask you questions while we're going through the scores, I'm just apologizing ahead of time.
That's fine. And if I don't know an answer, I'm just gonna say blockchain something or other, and you're gonna nod your head, and we're gonna move on.
I just have to say that when I first was looking at the list that you published, I was really disappointed that nobody picked me. But then I remembered that I said myself on the podcast that I wasn't eligible to get picked.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Well, that was dumb.
Remember, I was a sponsored shooter, so I wasn't on there at the time. I wasn't
right. And then we got the full list from.
Nobody picked me. It's like high school all over again.
Well, it's funny because we had said that you weren't on there because you were not on the list that we had, and then the very next day we got the list from Aaron, and we're like, all right, we're just putting it up there. So yeah, it was kind of interesting. And then we had a couple people. So Riley Croft actually shot this match, wasn't even on the list. And then Houston Russell switched from TAC to open after the picks started. So those two shooters, we had to blacklist them basically and say that they're not worth any points, could not be picked because it wasn't eligible for all the shooters. Now, as I mentioned on one of the updates, if we do this in the future, maybe we'll have some sort of method for changing your picks. Because another fun one, Lance Dingler totally Blue Falcon me, totally screwed my team. Thanks, Lance. Really love you, man.
Yeah, after all the hullabaloo around the Houston stuff, I got here and I kind of got wind of that. Now, before everyone blows up Lance, he was stuck at work, so he couldn't come.
I don't care what he was doing. He was not shooting 3-gun.
But yeah, I was like, man, if we're kind of freaking out about this whole Houston switching divisions thing, people are going to be pissed when Lance doesn't show up and just drops a big goose egg on him.
Because this was a match in Lance's.
Yeah.
This was a wheelhouse match for him.
That's legitimately why I chose Lance over some other people, because I'm like, oh my God, rifle shots out to 700 yards. Pfft, throw Dingler in. Dingler, get off the bench, get in there, and make me proud. And then
I could hear his voice. The rifle always decides the match.
Yeah. So.
To Texas.
So then, of course, he didn't even show. But anyway, so let's go down TAC real quick. So TAC, we had 10th place. So only the top 10 got points, and so we're just going to talk about them. 10th place, we had Benjamin Wright. He was not handicapped, so we did double his points. So he goes from 1 point to 2 points. 9th place is Blaine Cowan, who also doubled his points, so he goes from 2 to 4 points. 8th place, Dave Horn. Goes from 3 to 6 points. And then 7th place, Britton Morris, goes from 4 to 8 points. Now we get into the funny stuff. So number 6 was Ben Jurasic. Let's see. So we had him as a handicap at 6, so he had to shoot better than 6 to get double points, and he did not. He shot exactly where we thought he would, and he gets 5 points.
Nailed it. For the record, you all heard it here. Nailed it.
Just average.
8 on point.
And then we have Nick Miller, who was 5th place, which is worth 6 points, and it was doubled to 12 points. Riley Croft was 4th place, and he was ineligible to be picked. We did have 3rd place, Jason Tilkey, 8 points, which was doubled to 16. 2nd place, Taylor Olhausen, 9 points, which was doubled to 18. And then 1st place, Nate Staskowitz, 15 points. You cannot double 1st place. But yeah, 15 points for Nate there. So how's everybody's brackets doing?
A procedural question.
Yes.
So Riley's 4th, but he's ineligible. Does that mean we go down till we have 10 eligible finishers, or just the top 10?
He's just a bracket.
Just okay.
Yeah, we just remove it down to 9.
Roger that.
I'm sure that'll make him smile that he messed up some people's squads. Now, someone is notably missing from this list, David.
Is it Lance Dingler?
No.
Oh. We're not giving him shit anymore.
Not just Lance Dingler. How about that?
Yeah, we're also missing our heavy favorite to win.
Yeah, Daniel Jurasic.
Jurasic.
This is interesting, right? So Daniel was our number 2 handicap, right? So we handicapped him at 2. So he has to do first place or better to get points or to get double points. And then first place, of course, is only worth single points. So the most he can do is 15, right?
Yep.
And he still had a ton of people choose him. So
Shooter Source prize ceremony is him going up and getting a trophy every time. So he was safe money, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Like, it was definitely a conservative bet, right? If you search them in this little spreadsheet we have, so we had, I guess I forgot to mention that we had 71 people sign up to do this the legit way, and then you and me is 73, and then I know Aaron made picks that he's not eligible for, so that's 74 people playing this game, which is really exciting. So out of 74 people, 42 chose Daniel Jurasic.
So that's a pick trend of what, almost 50%?
And what happened? What happened to Daniel?
What happened, Aaron?
He DQ'd in some might describe as spectacular fashion. He shot 8 shotgun targets on one of our woods walks. I believe it was stage 8, and then started running and loading, and tripped on a maybe existent, maybe non-existent obstacle in the course. We're not really sure on that yet.
It's debatable.
It's still subject of debate. And it was described to me as he flew. Yeah. If you're gonna, Jerry once told me when I first started shooting, if you're not gonna win, be memorable.
There you go.
Box with this move. Yeah. So it was his last stage. I'm not sure what kind of match he was going. To speak to how many people picked him. I mean, he's kind of like Lance, like big movement, long range rifle. Matches that favor a more accurate shooter as opposed to, a pure speed guy like Max Michel, or just somebody who just rips splits. Right? They're not going to win this match typically. This match definitely favors the more methodical, precise type of shooters, which Daniel definitely is. Not to say that he can't run and do all the physical stuff and shoot fast, but he just prefers this kind of match and typically does really well. Blue Ridge, Rocky Mountain, Shooter Source. So, it's no surprise that people picked him, even though he wasn't able to get the double points or anything, because, like Adam said, it was a very, very safe bet. He was going for it, and
straight Buzz Lightyear.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you hit the wall, and unfortunately for Daniel, he hit the wall, and he's not really known as probably he's a risk taker, but he's not known as the kind of guy that takes risks that wind up ending in DQs, because he does not DQ hardly at all.
I was surprised to hear that he got bounced, because of people there's definitely people at the top of the list you would not be surprised to hear that of, but
sure.
Like a guy like Jurasic, he's kind of like you say, he's very calculated, he's very precise. Those aren't the kind of guys who usually take the kind of chances that get them bounced from a match. So
yeah, and
that was
like I said,
a surprise.
It wasn't that he was. I don't think he was taking a chance that okay, I'm going to do this, but it might cost me the whole match kind of thing. It was just kind of more of a bad luck. When you're running fast and loading a shotgun on uneven ground, it's going to happen eventually. So
it happens to everybody.
But he took it like a champ. I mean, Daniel's a class act all the way. So he was at awards, cheering everybody on and laughing it up. And we had one of the things that we do here, and we've done at Texas 3 Gun in the past, is Roland Wolf, who's from the Abilene area, owns some Dairy Queen franchises. So he always donates.
Nice.
Sponsorships of the match. He donates DQ gift cards to give to all the shooters who DQ. So it's always, sometimes we got to pick the right time, because 5 minutes after may not be the greatest time to hand somebody a gift card. So sometimes we wait a little while. That's a strategic move on our part, but yeah, he was having a good time with it. So he's a class act all the way, and it was his last stage, so he got to shoot the whole match, and he told me, that it was one of the most fun matches he's ever shot, even though he DQ'd. So that coming from him, a guy who shoots a lot of matches and is, pretty critical of, I don't know if critical is the right word, but he knows what he likes, and he knows what a good match looks like and doesn't. So for him to tell me how much fun it was, even though it ended for him that way, was kind of validation for me and Jeremy that we're trying to do something that people enjoy. So
We'll make him worth double points next year.
That's right. Yeah, he's just setting up next year. We don't hold anybody, but he's just setting it up to win bet on himself and win.
Well, so my math sucks. It was 45. So knowing that 45 people picked Daniel and he DQ'd, 45 brackets upset here. But that said, the winner still chose Daniel.
Wow. So he got all the other ones really right.
Yeah, so he got a 0 and still was able to pull off first place. Crazy.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to open real quick here, and then we'll start talking about the winners and losers. So we've got let's see, 10th place was Rich Saunders. He was worth single points there. Hang on. Oh, okay. Sorry, he's in the TAC ops. That's right. Okay, we handicapped him in TAC as 6, and then it was him and Heinrichs that were TAC, and then we got the list out. It was open, and I just carried their what's it called?
The
handicap over for simplicity's sake. So Rich was handicapped at 6. He got 10th place. He did not do better, so he gets single points there. All right. Sorry, long way to go for that one.
That's all good.
And then 9th place, we've got Kevin Harrington, whose points were doubled to 4 points.
Jackpot. He personally told me that was his goal for the match, so that he wanted to make sure
he gets in top 10.
He could double for everybody.
Impacting already.
Yeah.
Look at that. We're already affecting the game. Yeah, and so
you will.
Kevin was actually handicapped at 10, right? So he did one spot better. So he mission accomplished there. Good job, buddy. All right, 8th place, we've got Jay Christensen, and Jay gets single points, and so he gets 3 points. So we actually had Jay handicapped at 5th, so ended up 8th.
Do better, buddy.
And then 7th place, we've got Adam Maxwell. So Adam, you've got, let's see, 4 points there. You were not handicapped.
I thought he was ineligible.
I don't know. You tell me.
Or is that like?
Well, I was on the published list, I guess.
Oh, all right.
But it was after the show. It was weird. Nobody likes me anyway. The interesting story here is that you look at the score between myself and Jay. That is about as close as it could get. I'm 74.62% and he's 74.44%.
Wow.
So that was very close. And hats off to my buddy Jay,
who still only got 3 points. Can you tell I picked Jay? You can always tell who I picked. I'm really angry at my team.
That's what's going to make this such great.
I have a lot of phone calls to make after this.
2021.
Great radio, bro.
All right, so 6th place, we have Nate Heinrichs with 5 points. We have 5th place, we have Dylan Easley with 6 points. And then 4th place, we have James Gill with 7 points. 3rd place was Houston Russell. Congratulations, you get no points. And then, let's see, 2nd place was Justin Morris. And Justin was double, so he was worth 18 points. And then 1st place, Joel Turner. And he's worth, obviously, 15 points on that. So there you go. There's your guys.
All right.
What do you think? Any there's actually some surprises on here for me, and several of these people I'm like super proud of.
What do you got?
Well, I gotta say, like second place for TAC, Taylor Olhausen. Knew that guy was gonna pop sometime this year, and thank God he chose it when I was betting on him. He was on my team. He was on my team, and he got me 18 points. So super excited about that. Also, like I'm just happy for him for doing so well in the match. 2nd place there. I knew that this is one of those people. So I'm glad we're doing the fantasy 3-gun thing, because this is a person that I've been watching, and I knew that he was going to pop sometime this year, and here it is.
He has added some mega horsepower in the past 12 months. I think he was 2nd at the tune-up behind Nate. And then Texas 3-gun, he was 5th behind a lot of strong shooters. And We had pretty significant weather at that match, so not that there's an asterisk or anything, but I mean that was a tough match. 95% at Texas Wigan. So yeah, he's been having a real good year.
Did he just get a Hayes pistol, or what's the deal?
He did not. He has a Hayes shotgun. Imagine what he could do with a Hayes pistol. Maybe that's what's Taylor. Maybe that's what's holding you back.
Taylor, we're waiting your phone call.
Operators are standing by.
Yeah, literally call right now, which this isn't live, so that won't work. But Riley will be here when you hear this and you call. Maybe.
Yeah, Riley's here every other Thursday from 1 to 1:45 p.m. unless it's hunting season. So
yeah.
All right. Well, I want to tell you guys the winners, and we know that the winner had their bracket busted by Daniel Jurasic DQ, and so top score. Think about this; it's kind of low. I was expecting the top score to be higher.
What do you got?
69 points.
Out
of a possible what? Is there a possible?
I mean, I guess mathematically possible is like 18 plus 16 plus. I mean, yeah. So
it's math.
Yep. Yeah. 18 plus 16 plus 15 times 2. Yeah, there you go. That's your total.
For you playing along at home, you know the answer.
Bust out my calculator here, Aaron, asking me to do math in public. Right. How dare 98. You? What was that?
98.
98. Yeah. So total possible 98, but 69 was the high score. So there you go. It's kind of interesting. But we actually had 3 people that were that got 69 points.
It was a 3-way tie at 69.
But if you include the guys that are not included, you get 4.
Say that again?
If you include the guys that are not included, which is me and Amax,
yeah,
then we had 4 people with 69 points.
Oh, so one of our panel of experts chose the winning hand.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Would have won. So okay,
not allowed to play, Dave.
Exactly that's why I'm not allowed to play. I think we just explained that one really easily. Okay, so we've got Jay Christensen got 69 points. We have Tim Ho got 69 points.
Yeah, Tim.
And a little bit of controversy here. Nicole Hayes got 69 points.
Wow.
Aaron, how much did you help her with her bracket?
Dave, I will tell you that I helped none. And watching her and Diana Muller try to figure this out at the very last minute, like minutes before closing,
she was present,
was as entertaining as any other level of entertainment that will ever come out of all this.
You can't put that on TV.
It was amazing.
It's pretty good.
Maybe we should next time.
Yeah. No, I had no input whatsoever into that. So
yeah, so 3-way tie for first place here. Jay, even though he disappointed me like an Asian father, I'm just disappointed in Jay. He still managed to pull off the W here.
Nice.
Yeah, so if you guys remember, the tiebreaker was the order that people signed up, right? Yes. So Jay signed up first, so he gets first prize. Tim Ho signed up second, so he gets second prize. And then Nicole Hayes signed up third, so she gets third prize. And so since the fourth person's not available, we have to go down to the 68 points for second place / fourth place. So what we're going to do here is first place, Jay Christensen, right? Wins the 12.5-inch Zion pistol. Congratulations.
Heck yeah.
And then second place, Tim Ho wins a $500 gift certificate toward the scope of his choice, MSRP scope of his choice at Vortex Optics. And then third place wins 5. That's where the 5 came from. 5 of those magazines from Atlas Gunworks. So she won a match pack of magazines. Congratulations, Nicole. And then, so the next person who is in line and score here is 68 points. This is Alex Barrow, and Alex wins the Weber Tactical belt and holster kit. There you go.
Congratulations to the winners.
Yeah, congratulations, everybody. Now we're going to go over everybody's picks. Oh, I forgot we still have 2 prizes to give away.
Yeah, give away more stuff, Dave.
Let me give away more stuff. So the high score in TAC Ops, 49 points. And the high score in Open was only 40 points. Kind of funny. But anyway.
So that's a perfect score in TAC Ops then.
Yep.
Right, 4.5 and 98, so that's a perfect score.
That's correct. So this person chose Nate Staskowitz, Taylor Olhausen, and Jason Tilkey.
That's some good choices.
And it's also Alex Barrow.
Right on.
There you go. So wins a Weber Tactical belt and holster kit and an LAG Tactical kit.
And now he's a house divided.
What was the next closest? I'm just looking at the thing. There's a 45. I was just seeing how if it was like a nail biter or if he ran away with it. There's another 45. So he won by 4 points, it looks like. That's
he kind of ran away with it because the next closest there. Let's see. Oh, I take that back. There was a tie. Next closest there was Austin Tulo. And so he signed up several days after Alex did. So that was the closest. And then I think after that was that 45 you're talking about. Let's see.
I think there were 2 45s. So
yep.
Right on.
Yeah, there you go. And then Open 40 points. We have Adam Weinstein.
Nice.
Yeah. And so Adam chose James Gill, Joel Turner, and Justin Morris. So 18, 15, and 7 points.
So who is I'm looking at the thing here to see I'm trying to figure out why the high score for Open wasn't closer to 49. I'm just looking at the
because Houston Russell wasn't available, right?
Yeah.
And then the next highest points was 8, which was Adam Maxwell.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
And let this be a lesson to all you would-be brand ambassadors out there that it would behoove your personal brand to maybe post on social media what division you're shooting in and if you're going to make the mat, what your plans are. Keep us updated on what you're doing. Otherwise, if you've ever bought something from 3gunproshop.com, we might just publish your phone number. I don't know.
No, we would not.
Or would we?
No,
that would be highly illegal.
Yeah, so there you go.
But we will call you if we have your number.
Dave, here's one of those stupid questions I've referenced earlier.
Yeah. What you got, buddy?
With Houston being ineligible, 40 is the max score in Open.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're okay, cool. So that is another max score. Right on.
Yep. Yeah, so he actually chose the first place, Joel Turner, second place, Justin Morris, and then James Gill. So he could have only got a higher score if he had chosen Amax, and he did not choose Amax.
I gotcha.
Let this be a lesson to you.
Choose Amax. No, so let's go over so we've given all the prizes away. Let's go over the picks real quick. So Jay Christensen, 69 points. So he had Taylor Olhausen for 18 points, Daniel Jurasic for 0, Nate Staskowitz for 15, Joel Turner for 15, Justin Morris for 18, and himself for 3 points.
Which makes him one of the few people to bet on themselves.
Yeah, there was not very much of that going around.
And really, I only did it after you took away the person that I wanted to put on my team, and you mentioned that nobody was betting on themselves. I was like, oh, well, I'll do that.
Yeah, that is kind of interesting. It's funny, you can see little groups of friends in this as well, like by picks and stuff. There's definitely some sharing of answers. By judging by when picks came in and what the picks were and stuff like that. So kind of fun.
So what I want to know is how far is this going to go down the rabbit hole, right? Like you see the posts of people out drinking and partying and eating dinner and stuff with each other at the match, right? Are people going to start analyzing, okay, Dylan ate Texas barbecue tonight, so he's really going to be angry tomorrow, or
oh God, I hope so.
Yes,
somebody
please.
ate at the local Mexican place in Burnett, so they're going to be thinking more about the Porta-John than the match tomorrow. Like,
I'm
just
hoping,
wondering how detailed we're going to get with this, and because fantasy sports, for like football and stuff, and especially basketball,
I'm hoping we're going live with updates on like Instagram.
This could really get wild.
Yeah, one of the I guess league. What do we call them? Warlords. One of the league warlords actually posted and asked, "Is it bad to DM my team and tell them encouraging things?" And Amax is like, "No, DM away, baby."
Just go ahead and pull the pin on that grenade.
Yeah, we have a customer who is a college basketball NCAA ref.
Yeah,
and he was telling us some of the stuff about the security measures they have in place to keep the refs insulated from bookmakers and like fantasy sports people, and just it's unbelievable what people would do to get to these guys, and B, what people consider significant information when trying to set handicaps and stuff.
Can you give us a couple, for instance?
It's been a few years since we've seen him, but like I was just talking, like what they have for dinner, or him and his girlfriend getting along. Like, I mean, the most minute details about these people, both the refs and the players. They'll try to get to the refs to get info on the players because the refs know the players pretty well throughout the season. It's just bizarre how minute the questions and information gets. So yeah, I can see this getting real out of hand, which would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be epic.
Has he been training? Is he stuck in Colorado?
Have chaperones of the people who pick them, making sure they're not drinking too much and making sure they're not, get your 8 hours of sleep tonight, and are your mags loaded? Like this could really get
My life would be complete if that happened.
Yeah, I heard about some spicy pickles at what is it, Bob's Burgers or is it Bill's Burgers?
Dude, okay. So I was trying to do what I'm supposed to do, and I was putting in some extra scouting for the stages I had the next day. When all the other people on my squad, no, not that time, but they all went ahead to me to the burger place. I think it's called Bill's Burgers or something like that. Yeah,
I always confuse it, but it's fantastic burgers, and it's right in Burnett, and like outdoor environment. It's pretty happening place.
Cookout thing going on. It's cool. But I was like the last one there. And so I roll up, I ordered my stuff. Of course, everybody's eating already. And so I come out, I'm waiting, and they're like, "Hey, go ahead, help yourself some of them pickles if you want." And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." I ordered some myself, which I did. And I'm just waiting. And I thought like my name was called or something. So I went up there. When I got back, those pickles were sitting in my spot. They're like, "Here, have some." And this should have been my clue.
Oh, no, you didn't eat the pickle, did you?
Oh, I totally did.
Oh, God.
I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, if it's in front of me, I'm going to eat it. So I had like 3 of them before I think.
Oh, God.
1, 2, 3, really quick. And then I'm like, are these spicy pickles? And everybody at 3 tables busts out laughing. Apparently, like some people, I get a lot of crap from specifically Ruben.
And me.
And yeah, like I'm the ketchup is spicy. I only ate the PBJ and chicken nuggets, which is totally not true, but somehow I got that moniker.
Remember the Arby's sauce in Hurricane?
Yeah. But apparently these things put some people on their back, and I was kind of like, these are kind of spicy. I'm going to stop eating them now. Oh, maybe, what? Squirt some ketchup in there. I'll go a couple more. My food's going to be a few minutes. I had a few of them.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. But they were hot.
So I spoke to Jay Christensen last night. He didn't mention you, but he was telling me about all the people that they got into this little web of spicy pickles.
So many people,
so many casualties. And then not a big problem for you, huh?
No.
Are you growing up, buddy?
Maybe.
What's going on?
I guess, I just went to Taco John's enough and...
But see, that's information. If I was betting on this, that's information I would find valuable, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Daniel Jurasic did eat the pickles.
Yeah.
So,
or the fact that Amax eats the pickles and is unaffected, right? Like, I'm definitely filing that away for future use.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Amax unaffected by pickles.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a Chili's within range of the range. It's probably going to be all right.
So I also heard that the pickles caused some problems the next day. Allegedly.
I specifically heard that, but
you didn't hear that?
You know, well, now that you mention it, I think
I heard for several people it was a bad next day.
Again, this is information I would like to have.
this is information we need to know.
It really is. Like,
We're gonna start taking attendance at dinner. Like, who's where?
is your guy gonna shit his pants when he's running down the stage? Yeah.
Yeah. This thread is relevant to my interests.
Yeah. I don't know. So I guess you never know what information is going to be pertinent. You know,
Right.
Just keep your eyes, keep your wits about you at all times.
All important. It all matters.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we talked about Jay's scores. The other people that won were kind of similar to that, but can you believe that there were some people that didn't score any points at all?
What? Like how many?
There's one.
Are they wives?
No.
Oh.
Okay, there's just one. But there's like several single digit scores. Like there's an 8, there's a 6, there's a 9. Not so good. Jared Boyson. Buddy, you didn't get any points at all.
You're going to want to listen to some 3-gun shows.
Yeah, man. Better luck next time.
Better luck next time.
Yeah, definitely get back in there.
It gets better.
Yeah, get back on that horse. But yeah, interesting, huh? And
want to know, Dave.
I'm sorry?
Here's what the people really want to know.
Who won between you and me?
How did Adam v. Dave go?
Do we want to bring
you have a 69, so I'm already the dark horse.
You're already the dark horse?
Well, yeah, I didn't have a 69, so like how far behind you am I? Can I
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was me that won. I got the 69. You got 50.
50.
Yeah.
Right, I can make that up at Benny. I can make that up.
So, do you want to go over your picks here real quick, Amax?
Sure. Let's see. I picked Nate on TO because he's Nate and he's the AMU. Lance Dingler, because again, I couldn't get his voice out of my head about the rifle always decides the match. Like, well, we are playing in Texas, so we got to have a fiddle in the band. And then
the match is won and lost on the rifle.
Yep. I built a rifle for this match, actually. What? And then I picked my buddy Nick Miller because I feel like Nick is a solid performer every time, and I knew he was going to get double points. So
that's a good choice. Nick, especially in Texas, Nick always is
home turf.
Yeah. Top 10 pretty much guaranteed and has had some real good performances, particularly up at Shooter Source in previous years. He's done.
Yeah.
So
I feel like he's a solid choice for Vortex Shooter Source, which was the legacy of this match, right? So
Yep.
And
then originally I had picked Houston and then was told I couldn't pick Houston and nobody was betting on themselves. So I picked myself, figuring I would at least be eligible for double points.
There you go.
And then I picked Jerry, who's usually a pretty safe, 5th place, and we didn't handicap him, so he was probably going to be double points, which didn't happen. And I picked Joel Turner because right now, if you're picking Joel Turner not to win Open, you're probably wrong.
Yeah, and I'll just throw this in. When I was reviewing scores, the match in Open, Joel Turner got 897.49 out of 900 available points.
He won every stage except stage 9, which was the all shotgun jungle, in which he got a 97.
Dang.
So in terms of consistent dominant performance, he was really firing on all cylinders.
It's really your textbook throat punch.
Well done, Joel. Good stuff. All right, so for
do that.
What was that?
And then he was like, "Oh, did I do that?" And he took the biggest prize on the table and he smiled, and away in the rental car he went.
Yeah. All right. So for me, I had Taylor Olhausen for the reason I mentioned earlier. I just knew that he was going to pop, and I'm glad it was this match. And then I chose Nate Staskowitz and Lance Dingler for the same reason. as each other. Just as like they're riflemen. This seems to fit like all their strengths and everything. And then Lance totally let me down on this one, which is okay. I'll probably get over it.
And here's what I love about this game, because like Taylor is a guy, he's a classic example of a guy who I would never pick because I have no idea who he is. He's just a name on a list to me, but like he's obviously someone you should know if you're playing this game. So these are like the kind of people and the kind of stories that I'm looking forward to following in this kind of stuff, because apparently he's a big deal and I had no idea who he was and I should have picked him. So
he has a very entertaining Instagram. You should check it out.
Well, we're using my phone to make the podcast, otherwise I'd go follow him right now.
Well, don't check him out now.
I think that's one of the things that kind of got me excited about this, Dave, was the fact that, you know, even as even when it was 3-Gun Nation and, you know, with all the popularity it's had in the last few years, it's still somewhat regional, right? Like Adam said, like we all know Taylor down here. He gets up to Gen 3 gun, and, you know, I think he shot Rocky Mountain with those guys with Daniel then this year, but, you know, he's probably not going to show up at Tri-Gun or at you know, out in Utah or the matches on the East Coast. So I think this is a really cool way for people who don't go, or you're like, I have like a 12 to 15 hour radius that I usually try to stay in, right? Driving time. So that obviously creates some things for me. So if everybody kind of has that same mentality, whatever their radius is, they're never going to experience or meet people outside that radius. So I think this is a really cool way, right? Like Taylor's going to be on everyone's radar for Fort Benning or whatever. I'm not sure if he's shooting Benning, but whatever the next match he's in, right, he's going to get a lot more picks because of this. So I think it's cool that it's going to get people who shoot 3-gun across the country who may never meet each other, you know, to know of people that they would never otherwise know of. And I just think that's kind of cool. And I think that everybody kind of has in their mind the idea of like who the best is. And there's a lot of regional type players that don't necessarily branch out super far from their home turf. But when the matches they do shoot, you know, they're dominant in. There's a couple guys out on the West Coast that I've met at Superstition that are kind of the same way. Like you're not going to see them at very many matches, but the ones they shoot, they do really well. So cool to kind of let I don't know if lesser known is the right phrase, but you know, people who you're not going to see at every major throughout the whole year, find out how good they are. Cause there's some real good shooters that are not on a lot of people's radar just because their travel habits aren't, you know, such that they get exposed to everybody.
Yeah, good example of that is, what was it, 2 years ago? Kyle Litzy came and won TAC at Vortex Shooter Source. And like, Amex, I think you knew Kyle before that. I knew Kyle before that because I'd shot Red October with him, but it was one of the, like, he surprised a lot of people, especially the Texans. So it's cool now that it gets like a more notoriety outside the match, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Or like, I mean, we'll omit the name to protect the innocent, but you tell the story of a Texan who'd never heard of Scott Green.
Yeah. I forgot who that was, but that's still hilarious.
Well, I know who it is, but yeah, it's like, well, don't you think I'm the best shooter? I'm like, what? You think you're better than Scott Green?
Oh,
Scott Green.
I remember that now. Yes. I was like, yes, that was a very funny conversation. You think you're better than Scott Green? Who's Scott Green? Okay. Well,
all right. Well,
talk to you later. Have a good day.
Solving world problems here.
Yeah. It's interesting. All right. So finish out my, my open team. I had, Joel Turner gave me 15 points. Jay gave me a measly 3 points. And then, Justin 18 points, for a total of 69, Justin Morris. So Justin Morris, solid choice. I feel like Justin flies under the radar way too much. Nobody has noticed that this dude has won all but one division at Texas 3-Gun in the last like 6 years.
Yep.
So this guy is silently just murdering the entire field on a regular basis, and hardly no one picks him.
Notice the same last name, but he's raising I don't know. We call Justin the Ghost. He's raising a junior ghost.
Yeah.
Britton is his son, 18-year-old son, and who got, I think, 7th in TAC. I think he said. So, and he's been shooting for a few years now, but he just started taking it, you know, somewhat seriously. And he kind of like Taylor, like I remember last year shooting with Britton, he kind of was, you know, more of a wanderer. Like he's here to shoot and have fun, but, you know, just not taking it that seriously. And this year when you watch him shoot, it's watching a totally different shooter. I mean, he's fast. He's moving with a purpose. He's really added some horsepower in the past year. So if he keeps shooting 3-gun in another couple years, we're going to be seeing his name even closer to the top than he was at this match. No, he's very strong, and obviously has a good coach. So
yeah,
but yeah, Justin has won every division at Texas 3 Gun, but except for 2x4. So
yep.
If we could maybe guess what division he might be in this year, I'll give you one guess.
2x4.
Winner.
I've shot a bunch of club matches with those dudes, the Morrises, Justin Britton, and then we shot Kalash Bash, the first Kalash Bash with them as well. And Britton has been just one of those like, oh, he's doing pretty good, but he's still looking at butterflies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's good to know that he's coming on and taking it more serious. It's exciting.
And it brought that match up. I'm gonna add some other almost completely seemingly irrelevant information, but relevant to our interest here. So Justin actually got food poisoning at Kalash Bash.
Yeah. That was the first one a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, down in Navasota. He basically laid flat on his back on a flatbed trailer until it was his turn to shoot, and then went and shot, and then went back to the trailer or the woods. He had a rough day, but I think he got second place. So Justin could probably eat spicy pickles, suffer all the aftermath, and still perform.
We might have to slip in the
right?
spicy pickles.
But our squad photo, one of the most memorable squad photos I've ever been a part of.
Yeah.
Justin was laying on the trailer, and we all go over there and stand next to the trailer and take a picture. And I still don't know whether he knows that happened or not.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Or anything. So, but yeah, that was pretty epic performance by him. So, but he's another guy that doesn't travel a lot just because of work and family commitments and things. And he shoots Texas matches, and I think he shot Babes with Bullets with us a couple years. But you're not going to see him across the country. But he is a strong performer at whatever match he's at. So.
Yeah, totally agree. And also probably one of the smartest dudes I've ever met to pretend to have food poisoning all day so he didn't have to reset. And then, no, I'm just kidding.
Bold strategy.
It's a bold strategy.
No, I remember giving him a hard time when he's like lying on the ground and then realizing, oh, no, he's really sick. We should stop.
He's really about to die. He's not fake.
Yeah, we should stop screwing with that guy. And then he beat me in the match pretty much. So lost all sympathy.
Oh, good times.
Yep. All right, kids. Well, I think that almost wraps it up. We've got to go over Aaron's picks, though. Aaron, I know you made some picks. You didn't sign up for the match for obvious reasons.
A bit anticlimactic now that I review them because I haven't given it a thought since I wrote these down in my head when we talked about it the first time. So I had for TAC Ops Nate, which is an obvious choice, and then I actually had Daniel Jurasic and Lance Dingler. So
sucker!
But really, kind of double gut punched me with their
pair of goose eggs, man.
Yeah, big time.
It's hard to come back from that.
I'll have to talk to them about that later. But and then for open, I did better in open. I had Justin Morris, Joel Turner, and James Gill for my open picks. So
good.
Maxwell was sad I didn't pick him, and then it turns out if I'd have picked him, I'd have won. So
yeah. Well, so what was your total points?
Well, let's see, Justin, Joel, and Gill. So whoever what was that, 40?
Yep. So 40 plus Nate's 15, so you got 55.
Yeah, 55. Yeah. So a nice.
Still beat me.
High mid pack, which is kind of where I like to hang out. So.
And you beat Amax.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
I'm getting beat at my own game. I'm gonna have to change the rules.
So
yeah.
Dave, I think this is cool. I'm excited to see where this is gonna go.
Yeah, it's interesting. If anybody knows how to make this easier on me other than the spreadsheet, I would definitely appreciate some help. This is not easy, and I'm probably doing it the hardest way possible. So there you go. What do you think, dudes? I mean, first fantasy 3-gun match ever, and we had 74 people, including Aaron there.
Yeah, and I think this is, I'm not going to call this match unknown, but this is definitely one of the more under the radar matches, on the national schedule, even in previous years, and especially this year with the venue change and kind of the last minute thing with Triple C closing down. We weren't even sure this match was going to happen until I think July is when we finally decided to do it. So, it was a good one probably to use for like a pilot, but I'm excited to see the dynamic of like Fort Benning, right? Like we're going to be able to get really good rankings for people for handicapping from Fort Benning because it's a lot of the same top guys that are there year after year. So I'm excited to see how that changes, how people pick and the dynamic of the match and stuff, because I feel like there's a lot of maybe question marks on with this match with fewer people being handicapped plus a lot of people being here for the first time. So it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic changes from match to match.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that, Aaron. So one kind of sneak peek, a little bit of a wrap up here. I had talked to Scott about like different points values, and this is just still up in the air, but something to think about is like maybe the people that are handicapped can do like 1.5x the points, and then people that are the real dark horses, the people that have not gotten top 10 at that match before and are hanging around either mid pack or lower, those people, when they make a move, should be worth double or 2.5 points or something like that.
You shouldn't be punished necessarily for picking the top 10 as everyone would probably guess that it would be, but you should also be rewarded for picking that guy who's been around 20 to 15 who didn't eat the bad Mexican food, and
yeah.
Him and his girlfriend are getting along great, and he's got all of his new guns that are working, and boom, there he drops a 5th place. Like that should be what puts you over the top. You should have to make a move like that, I think, to win. There's going to be so many people picking the expected favorites that there needs to be a passing lane there for people who want to take that dark horse that can go to the top. So.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and years ago when we were talking about this, my question was always like, well, I called it the Horner problems. Like, how do you stop people from just picking Daniel and then
the Horner problem's easy right now. He doesn't show up.
Well, no, and again, it's easier to call it the Horner problem than the Turner problem, right? Because he's not shooting this match. So,
yep.
But if you're looking at this match again and Nate and Joel turn up, like, how do you not choose them, right? They won last year. So whatever you call the problem, it's still a problem. But adding points not points values, multiples, definitely helps that. And I do think, like Aaron said, that if you can get someone who's hanging around in 12th to 15th place, like Taylor, and he comes up and shows a second place, that should be valuable points wise.
Yep. Yeah. And I don't think it'll deviate too far from the spirit of what it is right now, because
just small tweaks.
We don't want people just to pick the top guys, like if you want to pick top guys and play it safe, that's a strategy. Taking a risk on some of these guys further down the list, which is definitely a risk in our sport. We want that mix to be in there, because like if everybody picks the same 3 guys, then there's not going to be any point spread either.
Yeah. So, and if you go and look at the picks, they're up on 3gunshow.com right now. You can, years from now, if you're listening to this, just search for Vortex Shootout and you'll find them right there. But there was a vast diversity in picks. It wasn't like everybody just picked the top 3 and got max amount of points. It was all over the board. Even, someone even picked someone that wasn't even at the match, which, God bless them.
Dark horse.
Yeah, now that is a dark horse. Maybe you know something I don't, but I don't think that guy's going to do so good.
That's funny.
But
I would say this, Dave. Don't be afraid. You were talking about with the point values, in the 1.5. Maybe don't be afraid to tweak it a little bit to make it, seem like it's what it should be. Like don't just don't feel forced into the certain formula we started with, because people are going to say, well, you can't change it midstream or any of that stuff. Like this was going to be, for the first year, an ongoing kind of developing system. So, just don't be afraid to tweak it in ways that you see fit. As long as you, do updates like you did and say, hey, here's what we're doing and here's why, I think people will be cool with it.
On the first time, it's scariest, and we've done it once now. So I can assure you that we will convene the handicap committee and pull the stats from Benning, and I will talk Dave into trying another pilot of this one more time this year before the season's over, and we try to do this as a series for next year. So.
Start talking, buddy.
Hey, it's a long way from Texas to Wisconsin. You know, like.
Right on. Well, I gotta say, like, I'm pumped. I really had a ton of fun doing this, and I'm not a like a fantasy sports person, obviously. As Scott said when I got on the phone with him, he's like, clearly you and Amax. It's like, hey, leave us alone, buddy.
Whoa.
We got the bully pulpit here. Anyway, but yeah, so I really enjoyed doing this. It had me paying attention to a match that I wasn't even at, more than just checking out the scores at the end. Like I was looking last night, I was checking scores on Saturday night, on Friday night. So I thought that was really cool. It was something fun. Hopefully it gives more I guess notoriety and more exposure to the matches, because I know everybody on the phone here or on the Skype call loves this game to a fault. So we all want to see it perform better. So I'm glad that that the community really enjoyed it as well. So we got 75 people to play it. It was great.
Yeah, I was optimistic, but also surprised how it actually turned out. So I'm glad this many people were tempted to try, and look forward to doing it again.
Hell yeah. All right. We're going to call it right there. Aaron, Adam, thanks for being a part of the show. Really appreciate, Aaron, your contribution to the shooting sports, putting on matches, making all kinds of great venues and opportunities for people to go out and shoot these matches. And Amax, thanks for coming and BSing with me on the show as always, and of course for shooting Aaron's match.
Glad to do it. It's my duty.
Right on. And thanks to everybody that played. Thanks to the 71 people that took a chance and signed up for this. Thank you to IWI, to Vortex, to Atlas Gunworks, Weber Tactical, and LAG Tactical for providing prizes to it. Glad we got to do this. Hopefully we'll do it again in the future. And thanks everybody for playing. Until next time, we'll see you on the range.
Bye-bye, everyone.